Hello, everyone. It's Lucid, and I've got the Demosthenes with me again as we look at Shinuyama.
Hey, folks.
Yeah,
Welcome
Dark
to
Side
return.
Cookies for this session. I see you're getting a bit of a death basket here.
Yeah. So this is the first stuff that I did not pay a fair price for. I think he thinks he's dead, so he's just getting rid of everything he's not using for his cap defense, which I believe Ulm is storming the Pyrene capital this turn, and we can see that that's probably the best thing to watch first.
Okay. Ooh, that's pretty nice. Is this what's Sunken Gallery? Is it two or one? One. Okay.
One death.
Ulm is storming the Pyrene Cap.
Yes.
Now, this you sort of want Ulm to win, right? Like, because you expect Ulm to be on your side,
Yeah, I think.
even though Pyrene's kind of friendly with you.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure what the implications are for my position. Like, we're getting potentially to the point where just other people being weaker is good for me, regardless of who they are. Friendly diplomacy will maybe not be permanent. Hard to say, and from a sort of
Yeah.
cold strategic perspective. So we
Yeah.
can you know root for
The thing
Pyrene.
about having Nexus, though, well, the only thing is Pyrene. I mean, Nidavellir could cut Omen onto Nexus whenever they want. They don't have to do it as part of the
Yeah,
original
yeah.
cast. So,
Hmm. Yeah, so it's complicated. I think the one thing to mention before we start here is, we were talking about how Ulm had a pretty paltry army just like 2 turns ago, after all their
mhm.
casualties. And this is once again a huge army. So they've,
I
definitely have been
mean,
producing
sort
lots
of.
of reinforcements. I think it's like 600 guys. I don't know.
Yeah, but like this is like 20 gems of stuff. The and then behind that, there's like 250 real Ulmish troops, which none of which
Yeah,
have crossbows. So, I mean, really, it's the mages that are going to have to carry the day. So we'll see how that happens, but
yeah.
presumably
I,
he's going to Rain of Stones again, and then maybe like Wailing Winds or something. I don't know.
yeah, we'll have to see. I
Okay. Okay, so we've got Storm Up by Pyrene. We've got Relief Up by presumably Ulm. We've got Rain of Stones by Ulm.
Yeah.
Storm would kind of imply we might see Wrathful Skies, which would be pretty epic.
Hmm.
I don't know why we haven't seen it earlier. That's kind of like the main thing Pyrene wants to do against Ulm. Because I don't
Yeah.
think they did in that other critical fight, but
Yeah, I'm
we'll
not
see.
sure. I think that they had the research because I didn't see not too long ago.
Yeah. Heat from Hell goes up by Pyrene. Also, not bad against Ulm because they have a lot of encumbrance. They have Mist Form. They don't have Aerofin, which is a that's understandable. Aerofin's farther in research than it used to be.
Hmm.
So, we'll see.
Yeah, so I think you can see King Santa and the Angel Thug have come in towards the gate.
What was that?
So King Santa's up fighting in melee with his Frostbrand, and I think
Mm-hmm.
the Iron Angel I think is maybe about to wade through. I guess it may be stuck behind some stuff right now, but it should be able to wade through the chaff.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a reason for Ulm to get him. I mean, I think this is a solution looking for a problem, but one problem might be that other thugs can't wade.
Hmm.
Yeah, the Storm Demons have jumped in, presumably. Yeah, they're up here in melee. So
Hmm.
there's not a lot of guardians. These are mostly the battle axe guys, and the guardians are what would make quick work of the storm demons.
Mhm.
So there might be a few. I can't see any.
Yeah, I think both armies are pretty exhausted at this point.
What's that?
But both armies are sort of starting to get a bit exhausted at this point, right? Like the sort of storm demons are out of
Yeah,
shots. The attacking force is just a lot smaller than it was. Um,
yeah. Hmm. Yeah, they didn't manage to buff. I think you would have tried to get fire resistance on these guys so if you put up heat from hell, but maybe they didn't
yeah, I
get the
guess he
mages.
didn't until
Well,
yeah, that's true. He did heat from hell himself.
yeah,
He did get marble warriors on them, so they're pretty like they're actually pretty good in melee against the Olm stuff because they do armor negating damage. They've got high attack and defense and storm, and they've got some protection plus ethereal.
yeah. Oh, I didn't notice the protection bit. Yeah, that is cool. Okay, Ulm is routed. Oh, these immortals haven't run though, and the golem won't run. What combat round? We're on 56. 74. Okay. Is that how it actually happened in the replay? Time
I
to
think
find
that's
out.
about right. Yeah, so 700 casualties for Ulm.
I think this is kind of a loss for you too. I think you really were rooting for Ulm here. I mean, not that you were, but I think maybe you should.
Well, I don't
Because
remember what
this
I was
army,
thinking at the
yeah.
time, but
Well,
yeah,
no,
I mean, I think
I'm
it's
not judging you. I'm just
yeah,
I my point was just that this army is the army to fight Nidavangur, right? Like this army is not really in position to come and fuck with you. It's pretty much only going to go be used to fight Nidavangur. And now I think Nidavangur just gets to take Pyrene's capital because presumably these guys are going to be fighting, or if they're not, Ulm's not going to be able to have much to say in this region for a while. I don't think.
yeah. So we should look at a few more fights before we scroll around too much more.
Okay.
Uh, but we can
I
watch
want to
the
do a little bit of a post mortem on this
Yeah,
battle,
yeah.
though. I think what could Ulm have done to win? I think so. His play of doing a rain of stones, which won him the previous fight, didn't win this one because he got, I don't know, did Pyrene do Army of Mists or was it just Mist form area of effect? Okay, so he did Army of Mists because
And
he got all these guys too.
presumably Marble Army too, as a result.
Yeah.
Um,
So he went high alt. Now, yeah, 10 shock resistance. I think he needed Wrathful Skies. It might have been it might have been he didn't have the research to go Alt 8 and then also our Evocation 6 or 7,
but
wherever Wrathful Skies is.
he's used Wrathful Skies before. I think he used it against Tian Chi. So I
Yeah.
think maybe it's the case that the Sergia who was supposed to cast it got hit by Rain of Stones before, Storm Powering and Sabbathing all the way up. Like that
Yeah.
is a very believable story.
We can figure this out. Sabbath Slave, Sabbath Slave, Sabbath Master, Storm Power, cast Storm Power. Well, what's she doing? Oh, she's out of Air Gem, so she can't do anything else. Okay. Wait, is this Heat Cloud? Oh no, Sabbath Slave, sorry. Heat from Hellcaster.
Wave.
Sabbath Master, Thunderstrike spam, Army of Mistcaster, no more gems. Oh, I guess I can just look and see who had gems on them. Well, no, they might have tried to spin them already. Thunderstrike Caster. No, it doesn't look like they tried. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would have made it quite a bit more decisive because it would have disappeared the Ulm army sort of before the Ulm
yeah.
evocation could do enough damage.
I think from Ohm's side, especially given that, like, I think in Dominions a lot of times it's shadowboxing, right? Because you're thinking like, okay, well, if the other person does this, what am I going to need to do to win this decisively? And if they don't, then you shouldn't take the fight. I mean, like, or if you don't have it, then you shouldn't take the fight. Like, you shouldn't. Your plan shouldn't. Your plan should give the opponent opportunities to be stupid, but it should never be dependent on your opponent being stupid. And I think like fighting into this with Wrathful Skies, I mean, the thing is that okay, maybe he didn't know they had Army of Mist. This might be the reveal of that. And if they don't have Army of Mist, then the Storm Demons and stuff will get killed by Rain of Stones. But like you already won one fight off of Rain of Stones. Like presumably he's going to do a counter. Like it could just be the area of effect 20 whatever mist form that he
Yeah.
plants on a bunch of guys. You know, there's going to be some counter response. So you can't plan on winning from Rain of Stones. I think like the things you need at a minimum now are you need like some form of shock resistance on your whole army, so it can be ground army. I think that's kind of the typical Ohm way to handle that. He needs to clear this faster, and I think too. Do we see a lot of magma eruption happening? I don't. So there's a bunch of these guys doing. There's magma bolts. I think he needs magma eruption.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that with these guys, but you need boosters. So,
You don't need boosters necessarily, right? I
um,
think it's just summon Earth Power and then having a Fire in a Jar to do, it costs us a gem to do Phoenix Power as well. Because I think Earth 3, Fire 2 can
yeah,
count.
fire in a jar works, but I mean, fire
Yeah,
in a
you need
jar
to
is a
spend gems
gem.
in some
So,
form. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. But the nice thing, so I would have expected if I were Ulm that they would do. I'm not sure if I would have expected Army of Mist unless they've revealed it and I missed it. But
I think
I
that's
would have expected, huh?
I think that is new.
That
Yeah.
they've done it before.
No,
Yeah.
no, I think
Okay.
I
So I
think
wouldn't have
new.
expected
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So I would have expected Aerofin though, or I would have expected clump casts of Mistform so that I wouldn't be able to kill the Storm Demons. Because the Storm Demons are what you like, these guys don't really give a fuck, right? And the mages, you can do air shield on them. But the Storm Demons are what are doing a ton of damage and are getting wiped out by this. The advantage of putting up I would even do it like maybe turn one, do Storm and Wrathful Skies. Or if you have to communion up, then turn two, like get out as fast as you can.
Hmm.
Because once this Ulmish chaff dies, like this stuff, which was like the Solus did a great job soaking up the Storm Demon hits. Absolutely fantastic job. A great call by Ulm to get them. But if those get spent by like Wrathful Skies wiping them out reasonably quickly, then that means more Storm Demon shots are going to go on these dudes.
Hmm.
So I think Wrathful Skies is like a huge miss. But if you're assuming they're going to do Wrathful Skies, you really have to clear out this gate really fast. The thing I probably wouldn't have expected, well, if I expected Aerofend, then I wouldn't want to trust too much on Iron Blizzard, which is a lot of his like clear in this area. Now, Magma Bolts is AoE, if I recall. So it's going to hit. It's not going to be dodged, I don't think, but even though it looks like a projectile.
Hmm.
I don't think it gets dodged by Aerofend. But Magma Eruption is going to avoid all that. It's also going to get rid of, if it gets through, and these guys do have a lot of fire damage, but it will help to get rid of mist form on these guys too as a side effect. I wouldn't have been planning that part, but
Yeah. The
trying
the
to think what else could Ulm do to clear the gate.
I think the other thing he could do is, bring either some summons that can get past the gate, like even like like a handful of demons scripted on attack archers could potentially go and chop up all those wall
Yeah,
archers, for example, or that kind of thing. Or there's various other flyers that could
yeah.
could do that, or manticores, where you hope you're going to route them on fear, that kind of
The
thing.
problem with that is storm, right? So turn one storm is going to make it
But it wasn't Turn One
tougher. You
Storm; it
can.
was Sabbath Storm, and
Oh yeah,
and
that's
and
true.
and like I'm sure that the Pyrene Pretender could have done Storm turn one, but I think that the Pretender might still be dead. Like I'm not sure we've seen. Was he here, the Frostfather? And Pyrene is a nation that tends to not have a lot of priests, so I think you could,
Yeah,
gamble on that. Turn one Storm is also not fast enough unless it's a Storm Staff. Flyers on turn one attack orders take off. Um, And so maybe there's
yeah,
something that could be done with that, or with his pretender, right? Like, his pretender could just be standing there with a bunch of fluffers on turn one, fly in the back, attack flyers, and go just fly in there and chop up the storm demons. And I'm not sure,
yeah, potentially.
Anyway, if I think like bringing some tool like that, or and even turn one mass flight if you'd done it with like a sky metal communion, as sort of a surprise,
Yeah,
like that type of technique where they were expecting to block
right.
the gate with the walls, and your
Yeah,
stuff all took off before they got storm up.
yeah.
Uh,
If they have a storm staff, though, obviously you're boned. But maybe they don't.
yeah,
Or, I mean, clearly they didn't in this case. But those give your opponents more opportunities. Or they have your opponent. Your opponent doesn't have to make a mistake; they just have to fail to anticipate you. And the
exactly.
more things you make where they have to fail to anticipate you, that's good. So, like, turn one mass flight would be huge. Yeah. So I think they needed a way to clear the gate or jump over it, as you said, like turn one mass flight, maybe flyers jumping in the back. I think it'd be pretty tricky because there's kind of a lot of stuff back here. Flyers, like you kind of need a critical mass to get over quickly.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's
So I
something
don't I don't know.
that's easy for Ultimath. I mean, I think you could imagine something with the Iron Angels, that being sort of your strategy. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a bunch of them, and that's a lot of Earth gems that you probably want to be spending on other stuff as well. So,
Yeah.
um,
And if Pyrene had a thug or two back here, that that could make quick work of a few agents that come out. But I think the other option is just like how do you kill stuff that's in the front really fast? Like do you have a group of things that's just going to run up and just massacre these? And the thing is, they have a tremendous amount of protection. So
that should not be
I think
a
one thing to
impediment.
consider is like steel slice. Excuse me.
Yeah, that shouldn't be an impediment. I
What?
think I think some like really, some thugs with two weapons and steel slice warriors or whatever that are gonna just racing really fast and be extremely killy, and maybe bring in whatever water magic you have to get quickness on them or that kind of thing.
We're talking about things that are not easily done. I don't think like thugs that are going to get through all the chaff because the chaff's going to clog the gate. So then it's like, okay, well, it needs to be Iron Angels and we need quickness on them. I
Yeah.
think that's tough. I think maybe just steel slice warriors on a lot of these guys might have gone a long way.
Okay, here's actually another one. Bring like a dozen Black Lord thugs, put them at the flank, and ethereal them and have them run for the wall on the flanks and sort of get around the back of
Yeah,
the
I think
opponent.
that's a good idea. I think that's maybe the best idea we've had so far for this because that's got a pretty high chance to get past all the chaff and get in there. And it's pretty easy for Ulm to make like shock resistance gear, so they maybe do okay against the storm demons if they're attacking in mass. Like you can do like the storm lance or whatever, or the storm. What is it? Storm spear,
Yeah,
lightning spear, and then the ring of tamed lightning, like he's got on this guy, and that gets you up to 20. You can also, I believe, stack the ring of tamed lightning with the shock spool. So anyway, there's things you can do, but then you basically have them, run back there and kill demons. And
yeah,
I mean, I like the evocation spam, and that can work. I think on Pyrene side, it was really just if they did Wrathful Skies, they would have stomped the shit out of them. But ideally, they would have also had Aerofin, but I don't think they could have Aerofin and Army of Mist. And Army of Mist was good here. So
yeah,
the only thing maybe was putting fire resistance on their guys too. Because if you're alt 8 for Army of Mists, then you should pretty trivially be able to. Oh, no, I guess you need to add water to your communion to do
yeah,
Warriors of Niflheim or whatever.
yeah. I think this is where Pyrene's really missing their dead Frostfather.
Yeah. Yeah. A very cool fight, though.
Yeah, I mean this was a
Okay. You
cool
want me to
early
look at
late
more
game fight.
things before we.
Yeah, Yeah, we should watch
Okay, so some
Cavern
Zots
of
run into Storm Demons.
yeah,
This one?
yeah. Yeah, Cavern of Tog is our attempted trap. So
Oh yeah, we didn't really look at that, but we knew you were doing. Oh, oh, hello, a monster fish. Fuck yes. Arco's smiling watching this.
yeah, well that's just from the mercenary.
Sai's
So
probably smiling too. Yeah, Fishmaster Sog. Okay, so it looks like we've got water elemental spam. We've got this guy who just deletes stuff. It's the same thing as I think Swallow with. Maybe it's different than the whatchamacallit guy, the ancient presence.
yeah,
But I think it's similar mechanic.
yeah. And then we've got
These guys are so good with quickness on them. And then we've got a Skelly spammer, it looks like.
the adept who teleported in.
Oh yeah. Oh right. You were saying you can maybe soul slay the only leader out of this.
No, I think there's two
Two.
leaders here, and we are hoping to steal with Enslaved Mind. So that's or maybe only one showed up
Oh,
here,
this is
but
the other one.
yeah, this is in
Yeah.
Slave
Okay.
Mind play against this army.
These guys are poor amphibians, if memory serves.
Hmm.
Am I wrong? Yeah. So they're slow underwater. That's important for plays like this. Oh. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay, we haven't seen the enslaved minds come out yet. Oh, there they go. Now let's take a look at this guy. He's got 17 MR. Not a ton. Your dude who teleported in. 5 astral with 4 pin. So the guy's like effectively 13 MR. No, because I think you get one from the bonus astral too. So effectively 12 MR. So you get him like what, 25% of the time it should work?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a bit better than that.
Yeah, or you just use elementals. Oh, get him. Okay, did you steal him in real life?
Yeah, we did steal him in real life.
Oh man, that's so
So
cool.
Cavern of Tog, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you might have seen that
Nice. Got him.
that adept we'd renamed to Goblin Propaganda. So
That's
our
funny.
propaganda campaign was successful. So I think Silverham and Marignan are the other two places that might be interesting. I don't remember exactly what they were, but
Okay, we'll do Silverham first. Some Lamias. So okay, he's trying to get some guys out, it looks
yeah,
like.
yeah, that's right. This is the fort storming, or just outside of fort that we're trying to storm.
But escape is not allowed.
Indeed. And then there's the
Oh, you stole stuff too. Nice. And then Marignan. All right. I
and then
think
there's the fortress of
it's
Silverham. I think is empty. I suspect, given that they wrote out,
okay. Yeah.
and then Marignan, yeah. So that's just empty. So the pride of that second Marignan fort has come to relieve the capital.
I mean, that did some damage, it looks like. I guess the first thing was the birds it killed.
Yeah, they kill a lot of birds, which is not progress.
They killed the eagles, which is significant.
Yeah.
Did they kill any of the thugs? Do these guys not have magic weapons? Ooh, wolf.
No.
I feel like that's something you definitely want on these guys.
Yeah.
So like if you're gonna put anything into a bless, unless they're like pure utility with resistances, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a pretty cheap bless,
This
but
is a pretty cheap blast. I think that there's different ways to do it. Like you could go with that we're going to do magic weapons on the paladins or something. But yeah, I think it's a
yeah,
good pickup. The big problem with magic weapons is just that you have to wait. Like unless you do dormant, which is really expensive in scales, you have to wait until the imprisoned timing, and that tends to mean that you're still, it doesn't help you against early game body ethereal plays, and that tends to be one of the more sort of important timings for magic weapons because you probably don't have a lot of evocations yet, and it's just really hard to kill like some other nations take body ethereal on them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. And then there's
yeah,
a battle in. Oh, so it's only right up. There's not a battle inside Marin.
yes, yeah, exactly. I think this is them moving their thugs back onto the capital to try again. This
Yeah.
turn after the retreat. I think that's all
Okay.
the real battles. There's some raids you can check out if you feel like it. But
Okay. So you're moving properly onto this Asphodel throne here.
yes, and you can also advancing.
What? Go ahead.
Yeah, you can also see we're advancing like a supporting army. We're trying to sort of start taking control of the retreat around that throne as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What's
I
Nuba doing
think
over here? They put this under
I think.
siege.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's sort of actually like a little bit of a question as to where the ancient presences are because they
Right.
could have moved this west. I think that they are not showing up in. Yeah, you can watch another one of these little chaff raids if you
There's
skip
some
it.
ancient presences here. I don't know if you're...
Yes, but the prophet is not
Yeah.
listed as there, so the prophet might be in
Yeah.
Raspberry Woods this turn.
Yeah. Raspberry Woods. Oh, this one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
Sirac, the old ancient.
Oh,
So
that's
the
this
prophet.
guy. Yeah. Here he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
With 4 more, so there's at least 8 of them total now. So you can sort of see that they've
Yeah.
been doing some farming of those. Critically, you need a swamp to summon those. So actually, that province south of Cloudcap Spires is actually a lot more important than you would think that it was because that's
Right.
feeding them. And I thought a bit about
Yeah.
whether we could hit that this turn and decided that it's a little bit too logistically complicated to hit it with something that can kill the ancient presences that they're making there, with a bunch of chaff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what we have.
Okay. We're at 30 minutes. I guess we call it here.
Sure.
And yeah, we'll do next turn in a new episode. So thanks so much for sharing this with us, Demosthenes.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next time.
See y'all.